Welcome, my inquisitive comrades, to Dr. Wonderworks. Prepare to have your minds boggled as we journey through time and space, uncovering the most peculiar, perplexing, and downright unbelievable events in history. From time travelers appearing out of thin air to wars waged against avian foes, we'll delve into the strange, the bizarre, and the truly inexplicable. If you're a fan of the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievably fascinating, then buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and join Dr. Wonderworks on this thrilling adventure through the annals of history. The outback of Australia, a land of scorching deserts, rugged beauty, and emus. Yes, emus, those flightless birds with a knack for causing mischief. In 1932, these feathered fiends became public enemy number one when they decided to wreak havoc on farmers' crops. The solution? Declare war, of course. The Australian government deployed soldiers armed with Lewis guns to combat the emu menace. Imagine the scene: soldiers in their khaki uniforms facing off against a mob of 2-meter-tall birds, feathers ruffled in defiance. The Great Emu War, as it came to be known, was a resounding victory for the emus, a testament to the unpredictable nature of history. Fast forward a few centuries, and we find ourselves in Strasbourg, France, in the year 1518. The air is filled with the sound of lute music. But this is no joyous celebration. Instead, the streets are filled with people dancing uncontrollably, their bodies contorting in a bizarre and terrifying spectacle. It began with a single woman, Frau Trofea, who stepped into the street and began to dance with wild abandon. Within days, dozens had joined her, their movements growing increasingly erratic and frenzied. Physicians were baffled. Some blamed it on hot blood, others on demonic possession. The dancing plague, as it came to be known, remains one of history's most baffling medical mysteries. Was it mass hysteria, a strange form of epilepsy, or something even more sinister? The answer remains elusive. In 1908, the remote Siberian wilderness bore witness to an event so powerful, so utterly destructive, that it left an indelible mark on the landscape and the minds of those who witnessed it. On the morning of June 30th, a blinding light illuminated the sky, followed by a deafening roar that shook the ground for hundreds of miles. The epicenter of this cataclysmic event was near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River, where something, a meteor, a comet, or perhaps something even more extraordinary, exploded in the atmosphere with the force of 1,000 atomic bombs. Trees were flattened like matchsticks over an area of 800 square miles, and the heat from the blast was felt by witnesses over 40 miles away. The Tunguska event remains one of the most powerful and mysterious explosions in recorded history. The Dyatlov Pass incident, a deadly hike shrouded in mystery. The Ural Mountains of Russia hold a chilling tale, a story of 9 experienced hikers who met an untimely and unexplained end in the winter of 1959. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group set out to conquer the slopes of Mount Otorten, but their expedition would end in tragedy. When the hikers failed to return as scheduled, a search party was dispatched. The hikers' tent was discovered ripped open from the inside as if they had fled in terror. Footprints led away from the campsite, some barefoot, some wearing only socks, into the freezing night. The bodies of the hikers were found scattered over a wide area, some partially clothed, some with strange injuries like internal bleeding and fractured skulls. Adding to the mystery, some of the victims' clothing was found to be radioactive. The Dyatlov Pass incident continues to captivate and confound, a chilling reminder that some mysteries remain unsolved. The War of the Stray Dog, when a canine sparked an international incident. History is replete with wars fought over territory, resources, and ideologies. But a war sparked by a dog? Believe it or not, it happened. In 1925, a stray dog wandered across the border from Greece into Bulgaria, setting off a chain of events that would lead to a brief but bloody conflict. The dog, belonging to a Greek soldier, was shot by a Bulgarian border guard, sparking outrage in Greece. Demands for an apology were ignored, tensions escalated, and soon shots were fired in anger. The Greek army invaded Bulgaria. The League of Nations intervened, condemning the Greek invasion and demanding a ceasefire. The stray dog, the unwitting catalyst for this absurd conflict, disappeared into the annals of history. The Tord Mystery, the man who arrived from a country that never existed. Imagine stepping off a plane, passport in hand, only to be told that your country of origin doesn't exist. That's precisely what happened to a man who arrived at Tokyo International Airport in 1954, claiming to be a citizen of Shrouded. The man, dressed in a suit and carrying a passport and other documents that seemed perfectly legitimate, insisted that Shrouded was a country located between France and Spain. He spoke several languages, including Japanese, and seemed genuinely baffled by the officials' insistence that his country was a figment of his imagination. The man's passport, while bearing all the hallmarks of authenticity, was from a country that had no record of existing. He pointed to a location on a map where Andorra should have been, but insisted it was Shrouded. After hours of interrogation, the man was taken to a hotel for the night while the authorities tried to unravel the mystery. But when they went to check on him the next morning, he had vanished without a trace. Londoners have a long and storied relationship with beer, but in 1814, that love affair took a rather messy turn. On October 17th, a massive vat at the Moo & Company Brewery in St. Giles ruptured, releasing a torrent of beer onto the unsuspecting streets below. Over 1.4 million litres of porter, a dark and heavy ale popular at the time, surged through the streets like a boozy tsunami. Buildings collapsed, people were swept away, and the air was thick with the pungent aroma of fermented hops. The flood was particularly devastating in the impoverished neighborhood surrounding the brewery, where many lived in cramped and poorly constructed tenements. 8 people lost their lives in the disaster, drowned in a sea of beer or crushed by collapsing buildings. The London beer flood serves as a stark reminder that even the most mundane aspects of life can have disastrous consequences. The Great Molasses Flood. When Boston became a sticky sweet disaster zone. Boston, 1919. The air is crisp, the streets are bustling, and a giant tank containing 8.7 million litres of molasses stands poised to unleash a wave of sticky chaos upon the city. On January 15th, that's precisely what happened. The tank, owned by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, burst open with a deafening roar, unleashing a wave of molasses that surged through the streets at an estimated 35 miles per hour. The sticky deluge engulfed everything in its path. Buildings were ripped from their foundations, and people were trapped in the viscous goo, struggling to breathe. The aftermath was a scene of utter devastation. The Great Molasses Flood was a tragedy that claimed the lives of 21 people and injured countless others. It stands as a testament to the destructive power of industrial accidents and the importance of safety regulations. The Battle of Los Angeles, when the City of Angels fought back against what exactly? In the early hours of February 25, 1942, the skies above Los Angeles erupted in a blaze of anti-aircraft fire. Searchlights scanned the night sky, illuminating what appeared to be a fleet of unidentified aircraft approaching from the west. Panic gripped the city. Was this an attack by the Japanese just months after the bombing of Pearl Harbor? The military responded with a barrage of anti-aircraft fire, sending over 1,400 shells into the night sky. The Battle of Los Angeles remains one of the most baffling events in American history, a testament to the power of fear and uncertainty. The Phantom Time Hypothesis. Did we all just imagine 297 years of history? What if I told you that the year is not 2023 but 1726? That almost 3 centuries of history, from the reign of Charlemagne to the voyages of Columbus, never actually happened? Proposed by Heribert Illig in 1991, the Phantom Time Hypothesis suggests that the early Middle Ages from 614 to 911 AD were fabricated by a conspiracy of powerful individuals. According to Illig, these individuals altered documents, forged artifacts, and manipulated the calendar to insert themselves into a more historically significant timeline. While the Phantom Time Hypothesis is widely dismissed by mainstream historians, it continues to intrigue those who question the accepted narrative of history. Could it be that our understanding of the past is flawed, that centuries of human experience have been erased from the collective memory? The answer remains elusive. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 of history's most unbelievable events, each one stranger than the last. If you enjoyed this mind-bending exploration of history's most bizarre and fascinating moments, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future adventures with Dr. Wonderworks. Thanks for watching, and remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction.